What are 3 things that you would say you know about me?
Well, you're the queen of sales.
Yes.
You love coffee. And you have a ministry.
Girl! Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to the Sold Out Sales Podcast, the podcast that will equip both the seasoned sales professional and the more reluctant seller with mindset shifts and strategies needed to succeed in a competitive marketplace. If you only sell when you need a client, then you're already too late. So we're going to talk today about selling daily without feeling salesy. Welcome back to the Sold Out Sales Podcast. I can't wait to have this conversation with you. And believe it or not, I really do want it to be a conversation. So if I say something that hits you, tell me in the comments. If there's questions that you have, drop them in the comments. And I'd love to talk to you about this. So how do you feel about selling on social is the question. And we always have Taylor, our phenomenal podcast producer, in the room. So Taylor, how do you feel about selling on social?
For me, I'm fine with it because it's always about sharing solutions.
Yeah.
That's really what selling is. It's just saying, I have the solution to your problem. And online, especially on social media, people are always saying, I'm looking for this. I'm having a problem with this. I have an issue with that. That it's not necessarily being sleazy and saying, buy this.
Yeah.
It's, you may want to consider X, Y, and Z. Do you want a deeper conversation about it? And then get it offline. My first thing when I'm talking to someone who shows interest is like, what is your phone number or what is your email address? Because the average person doesn't check their LinkedIn inbox, Instagram inbox daily the way that we check our traditional email inboxes. Right. And so it's really important to get it offline. So this is the thing that I'm finding is that I was having a conversation. I was actually on, shout out to Melanie Benson, who is our season 3, episode 1. So check her out. But I was on her show. She had a summit and I was teaching and I was talking about putting systems in place so that when you have this great visibility, you show up online, there's some systems in place so that someone, if you say, drop, this word in the comments if you want something, you're not the one going, okay, there's 14 people, you're not trying to figure it all out. You have a system in place that actually captures them, sends them whatever you've promised them, and then puts them in your follow-up drip or invites them to something else. Well, I had someone in the audience say, I wish I had that problem. Said, basically no one is responding to the things that they're putting on social. And so importantly, in order to sell, you have to get people to talk back to you. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily in the comments. Sometimes it's in the DMs or sometimes it's, people reaching out on your website. But the whole intention of your social content should be, in my opinion, to get people to talk back to you, to create some conversations. And so if we're not having people actually responding to what we're saying, there's potentially two things wrong. One, we're either not communicating the right message. So the person who needs you doesn't see themselves in that message enough to say, yes, me, please, yes. Or we're not asking for a hand raise. So I call these, and I've learned this years ago with another coach, and I love this. It's called a hand raiser post. And the hand raiser post is basically a post that invites someone to take an action, to raise their hand and go, me, please. Yes, you're talking to me. And so frequently we don't invite people to raise their hand. So they might like it, meaning they may look at it and go, that's great. Or they may actually like it, but they do nothing else because you haven't given them an instruction to do anything else. So we have to really examine, what are we online for? And are we getting the result that we desired? Mm-hmm. Because in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense for me to spend time creating content and doing videos and posting images and all the captions and all of that if it's not really creating any type of an opportunity. Be it an opportunity to invite someone to something, maybe for them to learn something and take an action. In my opinion, there should be a reason for it, right? What I see is what many of us have is what we call a visibility gap. So normally when clients come to work with me, it's not that they're posting all of this content and nothing is happening. They're not showing up at all. I tend to attract introverts, which is great because that's who I am. We attract who
I'm
we
an
are,
introvert
right?
too.
I'm kind of like, I love that I get to do this here with you because if you depended on me to be in my office and create a podcast, I would probably be on episode 4 right now. After years, right? I wouldn't have continued because that introvert part of me, it's like, okay, I'm enough. Enough peopling or enough of this being in front of the camera. That's just not my personality to do it naturally. And I'm familiar with that. I'm aware of it. So I get help, right? So because I attract those types of people in my business, I know when they come to me, they normally have a visibility gap. And if they have a visibility gap, if you have a visibility gap, you're maybe showing up, maybe you're not showing up first. Maybe you're showing up, but without intention. And the important thing for you to realize is that if people can't see you, they definitely can't buy from you. And if they're not clear on an invitation, like the Henrys, then they're not going to take an additional action, and which is why we post and we pray. And I'm a prayer warrior. Like, I love praying, but not this way, not like that, right? You post and you pray, or you post and you get frustrated and you find yourself saying after a month of content, this doesn't work and I'm not doing it anymore. What's the difference between content that develops curiosity, content that creates, clients, right? Content that causes people to communicate with you.
Right. There's different types of content, and it's important to be, strategic in your goals. What is the goal of this post? Is your goal to get people to sign up for a course or to educate about a process? And then you need to be totally okay with aligning your goals with the reality. Mm-hmm. If your goal truly was just to get people aware of your brand,
then you did it.
You did it. Yeah. Look at the view count. Look at the retention rates on the video lengths and things like that. And but if your goal was to use that exact same piece of content to convert, that may or may not be successful because of the messaging and just everything. And so that's where you want to have a diverse media of different types of posts between the video, the photos, the, quizzes, the polls,
All those things. Yeah. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with doing, we hear this term in marketing a lot, A/B testing. It's like, what's really working? Yep. And if we're not paying attention to what's working, then the likelihood is we won't know. We have no idea. We have absolutely no idea. So the other thing, and there's so much I can talk about this, is paying attention to who's paying attention to you. Mm-hmm. So I'm not looking at my post going, oh my God, only 10 people responded. I'm looking at the 10 people who responded. Mm-hmm. Because I'd rather have 10 interested parties communicate with me than 100 people who just hit the like button and do nothing else, right? And so look at the people who are looking at you and talk back to them as well. Mm-hmm. If they showed an interest in your content, why not message them?
Oh, the whole point is called social media. So you're supposed to have that back and forth dialogue.
So it's interesting because if someone walked up to you in a party at a networking event and said, I really like your earrings, you wouldn't say nothing.
Or just do a...
Yeah, exactly.
Back to them.
You would respond. You would say, thank you. Oh my God, I just got these. Or, you would maybe tell them a story and maybe ask them about something around themselves. But on social, when someone shows interest, we don't respond the same way. Mm-hmm. And if we don't treat people on our social platforms the same way we would in a networking room or at a party or anywhere else, then we're missing an opportunity for those daily sales, those daily opportunities, because someone is showing interest, they're raising their hand. They're saying, talk to me. I'm interested. I want to know more, right?
And Tish, I think you mentioned something that needs to be brought on a little more. You mentioned, and very quickly, how you can use your already built out CRM system to work for you.
Oh God, yes.
That if you just have what we like to call lead gens, if you just had a singular giveaway that is of value, that you can have basically your same CRM system do the work in order to send that particular piece of value to them, to then see if they even clicked on it and then follow up for you. All this in the back end done daily for you.
Absolutely.
While you're doing other profit-producing opportunities.
Yep. Yes. And the thing I love about the way we use our CRM is that I also get anybody who inboxes me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook comes right into my CRM. I don't have to go into all those different inboxes. I can work out of one place, talk to them right there, and then they automatically get plugged in to our system, so they're now getting follow-up from us. So there's so many amazing ways for us to be able to use the tools that we have and create daily opportunities. But the most important thing is to recognize that someone has shown interest and do something with that information. Make them feel seen, right? It's not just about you getting on there and looking pretty. It's about you being able to communicate with the people who've shown interest in your product, your service, and show them what's possible for them. Really give them the opportunity to see what they can do in their business through you. If you're someone who hates to network because you don't always know what to say, I get you. I'm an introvert too, and I've created a free gift for you. It's my Networking and Sales Handbook just for introverts, and it is at tishtimes.com. It'll be the first pop-up you'll see. Grab it. Let me know what you think about it. It's free. Go grab it right now. So when we're talking about daily content, and this is something that I love doing, this is probably the top priority for us in our business, is showing authority in your lane. And so I had a conversation on a different episode about people who, they're not clear on how they show up, and people are kind of going, but I thought you sold this, and I see you doing that. There's all these various things. Anyone who knows me, what, I'm going to do a quick quiz. I'm putting myself totally on the spot here. Do a quick quiz, because Taylor's known me now for almost 10 years. And if I had to say 3 things that I'm known for just because of what I post about, what are 3 things that you would say you know about me?
Well, you're the queen of sales.
Yes.
You love coffee. And you have a ministry.
Girl! Ding, 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 ding. Okay. That's exactly correct. If you go to my social, those are the 3 things you're going to know about me, bar none.
And you're a boy mom.
I am a boy mom.
I got to throw that in there too.
I am. I'm a family girl,
right, yeah,
for
family
sure.
Girl with the boy mom. So.
But that's exactly correct, because over 10 years, that's what I post about, right? It's what I talk about. People know I love Jesus, I love coffee, I love Roy Times, I love sales.
Yes.
That's
and you love your boys.
And your boys, right?
Yep.
So it's like having that level of clarity to where someone on the fly can name 3 things about you because they've seen it consistently. That's a quiz for you, ma'am, sir. Go and find someone and ask them, what are 3 things you know about me just by looking at my social?
Yeah.
That would be a great way to really be self-aware as to how people are really perceiving you as a result of how you're showing up. So if you're not showing up in your authority in the area that you purport yourself to be an authority or an expert in, then it's possible that people aren't responding to your post because they don't see you as an authority. You've not positioned yourself well to be able to do that. So it's like you need to be willing to teach something, to show expertise, to provide case studies, to invite people to interact with you around that particular topic. But you have to be willing to present yourself as the authority. And when I say authority, I don't mean you're the person, because I don't love when I see people, they're like, your sales suck, and that's what. No, I don't mean like that, right? I mean like you're just saying, I've taken the time to educate myself so that I can be of assistance to other people.
You are a subject matter expert.
I'm a subject matter expert. You're a subject matter expert, right? So that's what I mean by that. The second thing is really connecting. And connection is the piece. If you've been a fan of, a follower of the Sold Out Sales podcast, you've heard connection 11 million 1,000 trillion times, right? I mean, that's something we talk about all the time because it's so important. Because if it is just a neutral, unrelatable, unfeeling, non-impactful post, people won't know you, and they won't feel like you know you. So I was standing in the gym, at my gym, in the locker room, changing clothes after a workout session because I had a meeting. I'm in the process of taking my shirt off, and some woman walks up to me and goes, "Hey, aren't you Tish Times?" Yes. Why do you know me, and why are you talking to me while I'm changing my clothes, right? But and she said, "I've been following you online for years." And she knew things about me because of what I share, not just my business things.
Yeah.
Right? She knows about, the fact that I love coffee. She knows that I'm also a minister. She knew those things because we create connection through the stories that we share, through the relatable content that we post. And some people, there's some people that are watching that are going, ooh, I would never do that. Now, you know what? Then don't listen to this part. Maybe that's not you, but I will tell you, you're missing an opportunity to connect with people when you don't show a little bit of yourself. Vulnerability is powerful.
Yeah. And even just being a truly caring and giving a value person. I know one time it was really weird because a similar scenario, totally not a zone to be like having any kind of sales or networking like conversation. I was at a grocery store of all things and someone asked, are you Taylor Wellman? Yeah. Oh my gosh, the things I've learned from your videos and and it's like, oh, wow.
Right?
That felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, all right, mission accomplished.
Exactly.
Like, I have no idea who you are, but yeah, in a grocery store, you were able to find me.
And that's a powerful thing. It really is. So, creating connection by being relatable, being, somewhat vulnerable. I'm not saying you have to share your entire life, but being somewhat vulnerable. You decide what that barrier or that line is, but let people in because people won't buy from someone they don't trust, right? They don't feel like they know you or understand you. They don't see you as an authority. So these are things that help you to have that daily opportunity. If you're consistent on your social, then you want to be consistent with intention, not just consistent. Consistent is great, but consistent with intention, that's where the gold is, right? And then the last thing, or the third thing I would say is, making invitations. And again, it doesn't always have to be a buy my stuff kind of invitation. It could be an invitation to have a conversation. It could be an invitation to join a roundtable, which is one of my favorite things. We talk about that all the time. It could be an invitation to download a product or a service that something that they can find benefit from. But the thing is, we have to tell people what to do next. Once again, once they raise their hand, they're going, I'm interested, but if we don't give them the next direction, they're going to go find someone who will. So be willing to be vulnerable, but also be the authority. And the authority means you have to lead them to the next stage in the process. Now, this is the mistake that, and nobody's going to like this. I don't think, this is one of the ones that people might get offended by, but I'm just going to say it because I know it's true. That we're only, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but we're only posting value. We're only posting education because value does not equal conversion. Not the way we think.
That's true.
It's like if all I see is a lot of education and you're never leading me to the next step, then I'll continue to watch you from afar. But I will probably never actually take an action to buy anything from you. You have to guide people to a decision in order for them to act, for them to know what to do next. Or you have to be willing to have a system in place that guides them or be available to guide them, because frequently when I've seen this happen where I've actually reached out to someone. This has happened very recently, actually. I reached out to someone and say, hey, I'd like to schedule a session with you because I need what you have. Guess when they responded to me? Never.
No.
I still not heard back from this person. Right? And so they're providing great value. And I actually saw something that made me think, this is something I need. Yeah. And this person never responded to me. So you want to make sure that not only are you not only posting value, you're giving people direction, but then you have a system in place that actually guides them through whatever that process is.
And then if you have a system that you're actually using the system. I literally yesterday had a cancellation when we were getting all these automations. Oh, we look forward to seeing you in an hour. We look forward to seeing you. Yeah. And then they never showed. So they had a system that was giving all this automated follow-ups.
Oh my God.
But then they never actually followed through with their own follow-ups.
That's so good. You have to add the human element back into your automation. Because we have great automation systems, but probably every third step, it's a human requirement. So it's like pick up the phone and call them, or go check this, verify that you got this such and such, submitted, whatever.
Send a physical email from your own email.
From your own.
Yes.
So there has to be some of that, because you're right, the automation is great, but it could fail you if you're not physically available.
And if you're a set it and forget it kind of person.
Yeah, can't set it and forget it. You got to set it and then stay in touch with it. Create a rhythm of some sort, right? And so this is a great, easy kind of rhythm for you. So it's like when you're a practical way to show up online is to show up and teach something, that's your authority. Show up and share something, that's your vulnerability. And then show up and make an offer. So it's like you gotta do some of these things first before you can make the offer. But at some point you have to make an offer.
Yeah.
You have to make an offer. You cannot, the average person, shall I say, the average person can't sell something without actually inviting someone, right, to actually do something. So if people don't know how to work with you, they won't. That's just the case. They won't. So if you're listening to this and saying, okay, I have none of these things in place. I am not a social media manager, marketer, or anything, nor do I purport myself to be. But I know how to convert from social, and I know how to help people to see the people who are engaging with them, and then in a way that feels very aligned and authentic, connect with them so that you can take them to that next step. So if you have questions about that and you want to know how to do that better, then let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely send you. We have something called our Scalable Sales Blueprint. That's a very new creation that we just put together, and it'll give you some tips around how to not only do this well, but also how to continue to scale your company so that you're not the only person doing things. You have these automations, but you know how to create a foundation to where people are not falling through the cracks as a result of your automation. So if you have questions, let me know. I hope you can put something into practice that you heard today, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thanks for listening to the Sold Out Sales Podcast. I would be so appreciative if you would show me and my amazing guests some love by leaving a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Also, go over to tishtimes.com/resource page and make sure you pick up your sales and networking handbook, especially for introverts. Also, I would love to continue this conversation, so make sure you connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'll see you back here next week.